Hello YouTube, and welcome to a new Elder Scrolls lore video that will explore human intellect like never seen before on this channel. Just kidding, we're unironically talking about toilets, sewers and human waste management in the Elder Scrolls universe. So let's not waste any more time and let's immediately get to it. Oh boy. So I've often seen posts online about the complete lack of toilets and waste management in the Elder Scrolls universe. There are whole videos online saying that the Elder Scrolls has no toilets and that Bethesda completely forgot to add them in the games and that they know that they exist because they added them to Fallout but just decided not to for the Elder Scrolls. And while there are many cases of Bethesda forgetting to put things into the games or being inconsequent, I'm afraid that this actually isn't one of those cases. You see, the first real flushing toilet was only invented in our own universe after 1598 and wouldn't become available to the public for a very long time. In times before that, people just had to turn to other solutions to do their business. The way things generally happened in our own universe is that people would have buckets or empty chamber pots in their homes to do their business in. They would usually then empty these chamber pots either in the rivers or canals flowing through a city, in designated landfills or pits, or in sewer systems. The toilets, if a household had any to begin with, mostly came in the form of outhouses, which needed to be emptied in rivers or sewers or landfills. There were almost no cases of toilets being directly connected to sewer systems or canals, and you might say, but Zork, didn't the Romans have a central toilet and sewer system? And you would be right and wrong at the same time. Yes, Rome was famous for its sewers, but not all of its sewers were there for the transport of human waste. A lot of the sewers actually functioned as storm drains and weren't even connected to any central toilets. However, people usually still dumped their waste into them more often than not. In the few cases of toilets actually being connected to the sewers in ancient Rome, they were usually public toilets that almost anybody could use. Richer people or nobility kept using buckets and chamber pots that weren't connected to the sewers but needed to be emptied in them separately, because the public toilets, for all terms and purposes, were extremely gross for our current day standards and even for those days standards. And they did not really help with the Roman cities' healthiness, they just were there to help with the flow of waste through bigger cities. So, with all of that taken into account, I think that it's quite logical that we don't see any real toilets in the Elder Scrolls universe, if only because they weren't widely available in our own universe until early modern times, which just isn't the period that the Elder Scrolls is based on, it's a few centuries later. So, what is human waste management like in the Elder Scrolls universe? Well, it's very similar to our own universe's past. We know that cities like the Imperial City, Arentia, Riften, Haven, Woodheart, Elenir and Solitude all have actual sewers, and probably a lot more cities also have actual sewers. And that at least some of them are used for the management of sanitation. Loading screens in the Elder Scrolls Online tell us that especially during the time of the Riemann Empire, the Empire actively constructed sewer systems for waste management in cities like Haven, Woodheart, Elenir and other occupied cities. In these cities, the sewer systems kept functioning and being maintained long after the Riemann Empire had fallen, as they were quite convenient and handy to use. These sewer systems don't have any toilets connected to them as far as we know, but they are rather designed for waste to be dumped into them so it can be let out of the city. This can mean that by emptying buckets or chamber pots from the surface, or by going down into the sewers manually and then dumping them into the stream when you're down there. We already know that buckets are being used to do your business in the Elder Scrolls universe, as there's countless incidents of buckets just being placed in houses and forts in very suggestive manners, which basically suggests, yeah, they're the toilets. But we know that in houses without buckets, a more elegant solution was used: chamber pots. We can find those in almost every household in Morrowind, and in Skyrim a significant amount of the houses also has empty pots in them. We have the description of a portable chamber pot in the Elder Scrolls Online, which actually literally states, "This is a chamber pot of rich earthenware, designed for the use in the great outdoors for when a tree just isn't good enough." That quote, of course, implies that, it's used to do your business in. We also know that the use of the sewers for waste management is still going on during the 4th era, as the item description of the outhouse decoration in the Elder Scrolls Blades states that, unlike some of the larger cities in the Empire, your town, that Elder Scrolls Blades plays in, lacks an underground sewage system, making the outhouse necessary. Where the outhouse, of course, outputting buckets of waste which need to be dumped in either a river or in a central pit, if it functions anything like our own medieval times. So, yeah, to conclude, even though some people claim that there isn't any lore on it, it's actually pretty fleshed out, as there isn't even much left to speculation. In the larger cities, we know that sewers are actually being used for that, and that there aren't just, you know, places for creepy people to gather. And that people have to dump their stuff manually in there. And in smaller towns, buckets or chamber pots are likely just dumped into rivers or designated pits, like in our own universe. And there you have it. Another useless topic covered. But for real, these kind of topics are really just my favorite topics, as they're so weird and I have to search for all sort of little scraps of lore. And I hope that despite everything that you learned something today. If you did, consider returning to the channel for the next Elder Scrolls lore video, which drops next Friday. If you do that, I will see you all next Friday. Now, before I end this video, allow me to thank my top patrons, Mr. Bernardo Binda, Gabriel Binda, Mr. Para, Mr. Metalloid1v1, Mr. Christmas, and Hammer of the Scots. Thanks to these people, along with all the others on screen, my channel keeps afloat, and I'm very grateful for that, of course. That's it. I will see you all next Friday. Bye.